Yes, we can do better. Push 79, piqué, ponché, 79 pour Dr. Malone. City Miami commissionnaire District 5. Dr. Malone, c'est yon professeur. Li remet si moun yo. Li remet tande, nou ka fel konfiance. Li se yon nan nou depi longtemps nan Edison. Dr. Malone, votel. 79, push. Dr. Malone, ponché. 54 pour arriver dans 70, arriver dans 79, tout haïtien dans l'élo Haiti, pas oublier voter Dr. Malone. Li dit qu'il y a espoir dans nous, nous avons confiance dans lui, nous faisons confiance, il ne pas tromper nous. Dr. Malone, City Miami commissionnaire District 5. 5 novembre, depuis 7h du matin, pour arriver 7h du soir, tout haïtien, un seul rendez-vous.
Good evening, Miami. This is Max with Krickrack Radio. I'm having an interview here with Hector Ruz, the campaign manager for Dr. Malone Jr. The race is kind of happening. What's going on?
Yeah, this is the last weekend of early voting, and I'm really glad to be here to tell your listeners that Dr. Robert Malone is in this race, and he's running as the community guy, representing all of us to serve us on the Miami City Commission here in District 5, representing Little Haiti, Liberty City, the Upper East Side, Wynwood.
Now, why is this race so important? Like, what's going on? What are the issues here?
Well, the issues are the future of our community. We got a lot of pressure from developers who really want to just change everything, and the people won't have a say what comes in here, and that's important. You need somebody who's gonna represent the people and their interests. And that's why Dr. Robert Malone is running. He wants to be here for you. He's been here for years serving the community, and he wants to keep doing that. And as commissioner, he'll just be able to do that even more.
Now, this race, like, what are certain things that are going to be changing? Like, I know the developers they're coming in, they want to change things, but what are certain things that will be gone if Dr. Malone is not the commissioner?
Well, you'll see a lot of questions about low-income housing, but it's not just low-income housing. It's you have low-income housing, and then you have the disappearance of small businesses on the important streets, 54th Street, Northwest 7th. This is really the big question of the future. Do we continue to have policies that say, well, we should just get rid of all the small businesses and build big, tall buildings that house for low-income housing, and no one has actually any place to work anymore?
Now, what's this rumor going around that Dr. Malone Jr. is going to take away the Little Haiti name? Like, what's that about?
I have no idea where that got started. I'm sure it's some petty gesture from some other campaign saying that since Dr. Malone doesn't take money from developers, and the other people do, they're trying to say anything. And he's a clean guy. They're trying to say anything they can, and hopefully to cast doubt in people's minds. But Dr. Malone, he's been in the community for years, and they're scared that people will say, man, the one guy who's the honest guy who says it like it is about to win, and they're really going to say anything they can to convince people otherwise.
Yeah. I guess that happens when you have, how many days left until to vote?
Well, we have just about 4 days. So you have early voting today right now. It's going on at the Lemon City Library on 61st Street. You can stop in and vote early on till 7 here on Friday. On Saturday, it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Sunday, it's from 1 to 5 p.m. And then we're back on Tuesday, 7 to 7, over at your local voting place.
Okay. So now, what are certain things that you want to discuss with us as well?
Well, you got to understand who Dr. Robert Malone is. He doesn't come with the baggage of other candidates. He comes instead with a history of serving the community. He works in the public school system. He's an educator. He actually works to get our kids out of jail, keep them out of jail, and get them into college. And he believes that kids can have a future if they're given a chance. And he's been working to give families and their children that opportunity to do something better with their lives.
Okay. Now, I know families are very important. I have 4 kids, and I think their lives are very important, and especially in this community. And I want them to still be able to play in the park that I played in. Is that park going to be around if, we have somebody else as commissioner? Like, what's going on with the park?
That's a good question. A couple years back when Reverend Dunn was serving as commission, there was an important vote about giving away half the park of African Square Park for low-income housing. The vote passed, and he said, yes, let's get rid of half the park so we can build low-income housing there. And now, instead of actually increasing the size of the park, there's less. And you can expect to see more of that, more giveaway of our land to a private development. That's not something that we want to see in the future. That's not something Dr. Malone wants to see. He wants to see better parks, more recreation. There is not a youth program anywhere north of 29th Street in District 5. There is no YMCA for Little Haiti. There's nothing even in Liberty City. And this Dr. Malone wants to put those kind of programs to work to serve our children so that they have places that they can have recreation and not just being out in the streets. That's not where they should be. They should be having fun. They should be having places that are safe for them and for the families to enjoy.
Now, wow, that's this Dr. Malone guy is a good guy.
I mean, he's been here for 20 years. I mean, this guy, he worked out of, he's a graduate. He's a graduate of Edison Senior High School. He's been in the community. Everyone knows him. They trust him. You know, they've trusted him with their children, and you can trust him too with your vote to let him serve as commissioner. And that's the key. You know, trust. This is an election about honesty. That is really what it's become. Who do you trust to do what they say they will do for the community? And Dr. Malone doesn't come to this election owing favors to special interest groups, to developers, that all those other people will have to repay and take years to repay before they get around to serving anybody in the community. And by the time they probably do, it's election time again, and they're going to ask you they're going to tell you, well, give me 4 more years, just 4 more years, and I'll fix everything. But how can you trust them with 4 more years, or the first 4 years, they can't get anything done because they owe so many other people those favors? Dr. Malone doesn't have that problem. On day one, he'll get to work for us.
So you mean the funding and the donors for Dr. Malone are not developers?
That's right. A lot of them are not developers. Some of them have restaurants. Some of them, some are the $50, $20. I think we had a retired guy give us $20 to say, listen, I support you guys. I don't have a lot of money, but here, let's take it. Let's make this happen. And that's what we've done. We've run a very smart race. We've made this about the issues. We're not here to talk about other candidates. We're here to talk about the future of our community. The Little Haiti audience here is just starting to understand that Northeast 2nd Avenue is not going to have a future if there's not somebody like Robert Malone there to listen to their concerns and do something about it. Right now there's talk about putting a big low-income housing structure right on 60th Street, between 60th and 62nd Street. I mean, what are we trying to promote in the area? You need to bring in people that are families. You need to have recreation. You need to have parks. You need to have places that are good, and you need to control crime. Dr. Malone has a master's degree in criminal justice. He has a relationship with the police force. You can ask anybody in the community what has.
Yes, we can do better. Push 79, piqué, ponche 79 pour Dr. Malone. City Miami commissionnaire District 5. Dr. Malone, c'est your professeur. Li remet ti moun yo. Li remet tande, nou ka fel confiance. Li se yon nan nou depuis longtemps nan Edison. Dr. Malone, votel. 79, push. Dr. Malone, ponche 54 pour arriver dans 70, arriver dans 79, tout haïtien dans l'île Haïti, pas oublier voter Dr. Malone. Li dit que espoir dans nous avons confiance dans lui, nous faisons confiance, il pas tromper nous. Dr. Malone, City Miami commissionnaire District 5. 5 novembre, depuis 7h du matin, pour arriver 7h du soir, tout haïtien, un seul rendez-vous.
Good evening, Miami. This is Matt from Krickrack Radio, interviewing the Sir Hector Roos campaign manager for Dr. Malone Jr. And I wanted to talk to you about something pressing, Hector. The red light cameras. What's going on with that?
Well, the city took off the cameras for a couple months back, and then they put them back on because the state legislature changed the law, and Miami, the city commission's always been looking for more revenue, and you know who they're going to get more revenue out of? Us. That's what the red light cameras is about. And you gotta know that out of all the candidates, only Dr. Robert Malone is the one that says no. I would be a no vote to continue red light cameras. And you got to remember something: people are paying thousands of dollars in these fees. They're not even getting these tickets in the mail to them. So one day they'll get pulled over, and they're driving under with a suspended license. And you know what? That's jail. That's jail immediately. And that's if they keep doing it, it's a felony offense. For a little red light traffic camera. I mean, this is also a racist policy. I mean, because people are being charged so much money in where? In Little Haiti, in Allapattah, in Wynwood. I mean, these are places where people really don't make as much money as in other areas of the city. You can't afford to fight it. And so, what is it? It's just a disservice. It's injustice.
So, do you believe this is a form of gentrification?
I mean, you got to remember the city wants to change this area. The city wants to change everything in District 5 to appease the special interest developers. I mean, they want to build here. This is pristine land. You're 5 minutes away from I-95 in any direction, and you're 10 minutes from downtown. You're 15 minutes from Coral Gables. I mean, what do you think? Don't you think that means it's a hot commodity?
Hey, they have no more room to develop, so they want to do it here.
That's right.
And we have to stop them by electing Dr. Malone Jr. We have how many days left?
We have 4 days. Punch 79. Dr. Malone for We Can Do Better. That's our campaign motto. We can do better.
And we will do better. This is Max with Krickrack Radio interviewing Mr. Hector Roos, campaign manager for Dr. Malone Jr. Tell the doctor we said hi.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.